Dwight, how are you doing?
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Got it.
Yeah, Dwight, I was wondering if there's been any time since you've arrived in the bubble that you've taken a step back and thought, wow, how did the NBA and the Mavs pull off the logistics of doing all this? Has there been something that really surprised you or amazed you that, that has been surprising about life in the bubble where you're just wondering, how did they pull this off?
I mean, from the day we got here, it's been extremely impressive. I know a lot of hard work went in on both sides as far as the league, staff, and the union to figure out ways to make this happen. And there's obviously a lot of risk associated with putting something like this together. So no stone was left unturned as far as finding ways to go about this in the right way. And the protocols that we've agreed to have kept us all safe and will continue to keep us safe. But I think as a player walking through this experience on a day-to-day basis, it's truly impressive how much at home it feels as far as the practice facility is and the weight room and the training room. And even the time we're able to spend with our teammates is great as far as the facilities we have here. So they did an amazing job, and it's definitely a blessing to be able to work and to compete in times like this when not everybody has that opportunity. So we're all very grateful.
Thanks very much.
Cool. We're going to have Mac Engel from the Fort Worth Star Telegram next.
Okay.
Mac, you can unmute now.
All right. Dwight, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. A little bit along those same lines that Brad just asked. I don't know if this is anything that you've given any thought to, Dwight, but in light of the fact that you guys are able to pull this off and play basketball and do this in a bubble, what are your thoughts, if you have any, about other sports like amateur sports, kids sports, high school sports, of trying to proceed in this environment despite not having the kind of advantages that the NBA and even the NBA Players Association have? Do you think it's practical or possible, Dwight?
I mean, we obviously have pretty extensive resources and connections to pull something like this off. And like I said before, it took a lot of time and effort from a massive group of people to make this a reality. So I don't know if it's necessarily realistic to demand this of amateur sports or high school sports or whatever it is that you're referring to. But I think it is important that some of the lessons that we're learning here as far as how to keep things safe be reflected in those groups, as far as keeping social distance, using masks whenever possible, maintaining good hygiene. That's literally washing your hands at every chance you get, and keeping the groups that you're interacting with kind of in a close proximity as low as possible. So is it realistic to demand a bubble of every group of athletes? I don't know if that's realistic, but I definitely do think it's realistic that there's some things that they could take from what we're going through here and the experiences that we're sharing to help keep them safe.
All right, next up we've got Callie Kaplan from the Dallas Morning News. Callie, you can unmute.
Hey Dwight, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Curious, why did you decide to come into the bubble with the team even though you won't be playing during the restart? And what does a bubble rehab look like for you?
Why did I decide to come? I'm still part of this team. Whether I can, contribute on offense or defense, still proud to be a Dallas Maverick and still feel like I'm a part of this team. So once this was a reality and this was something that was going to take place, it wasn't a consideration for me to not come. I wanted to be here to support the guys. I wanted to be here to be in practice, watch guys work out, and support them on the bench during the game. So it wasn't really a question for me. So long as I'm part of this team, I want to participate in everything that they have going on. And bubble rehab is pretty much exactly the same. Actually, it's probably better in a lot of ways. There's no distractions. It's a very regimented schedule for me anyway, so it's easier for me to kind of adhere to that here in this environment.
Thank you.
Cool. And then we've got our last question is Saad from The Athletic. So Saad, you can unmute now.
Hey, what's up, Dwight?
Hey.
You know, this is such a young team overall. I'm curious if you've taken, consideration that it kind of goes off your last answer, actually, that, like, you're really in a leadership position at this point, and especially when it comes to playoff experience and things of that sort. I mean, is that something that you've also, along with rehabbing and being part of the team, just also being a leader, and how have you been able to lead in practices and help the younger guys along?
Yeah, definitely. I want to be here for a sounding board for guys if they need to talk about certain things on the court and figure out ways to help us continue to be successful through this process. So obviously can't physically participate in practice, but I'm there at every practice from start to finish and try to lend a hand where I can and just communicate with guys. And I think as we start to get into games, from the scrimmages to the first eight and then the playoffs, it'll be important that we have a good group here. We're solid, communicating, and all on the same page. So I think the more guys that we have in the fold that know our guys personally and are, have been through it throughout the course of the season, the better.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Dwight, you're all set, man. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.